Hello and welcome to another live post-game edition of the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. We're back again with Memphis Grizzlies and Utah Jazz coverage. Game just wrapped up. Series is now 3-1. The Memphis Grizzlies are definitely in trouble right now with this series. Just about winding down. First of all, let's go ahead and break down the stats for the Memphis Grizzlies squad. It's just tough loss. You had Ja Morant, 40 minutes on the floor, 27 points. And then Dylan Brooks also chipped in with 27 points as well. This game aired live on NBA TV. I thought it was going to be on TNT, but it was on NBA TV tonight. So it wasn't live on TNT. It was actually scheduled to be on NBA TV. So we wasn't able to get a chance to watch it regularly on TNT. But I love this Memphis Grizzlies team. I love the fight. I love the hustle and the grit that they do have, but they just don't have enough to contend with the Utah Jazz. Now that they're in a dogfight. They're staring down that last elimination game, and it's win or go home. And I'm hoping that the next game is going to be a little bit more competitive. The final score for that game was 126-110. We're going to have the live post-game coverage for both coaches and players from both teams tonight. But just a tough loss for this team, just how they got into the playoffs and following them into the postseason. And it's just been, they won that first game and then it's just been downhill after that. And, just unfortunate that they wasn't able to at least make this game a little bit more closer tonight. It was just an offensive brilliance from Donovan Mitchell tonight. He had 30 points with less than 30 minutes on the floor. Very efficient night from the field, 11-16. Then you had Rudy Gobert chipping in with 23 points. Russ O'Neal, 20. He also chipped in as well. And it was just been like, they just had consistent production from, all their starters. Russ O'Neal had 17. Bojan Bogdanovic had 17 points. And then you had 24 points off the bench from Jordan Clarkson. You get a production like that, from your bench, it's just a, recipe for disaster for your team. But like I said, we're going to have the live post game with both players, coaches from both teams. So we're going to stick around for that. But first, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to add those two teams to the stream momentarily. Out of bounds. All right, we're back and we're waiting on the Memphis Grizzlies to address the media. Again, if you're just tuning in to the live post-game coverage of the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, we're covering the Memphis Grizzlies and Jazz game. Just wrapped up, and we're waiting on the players and coaches to address the media from both teams. And it's just very, very unfortunate for the Memphis Grizzlies. And I was hoping for this game to be a little bit more competitive, but it's just, just tough to cover such a fun team and, not be able to see exactly what they're going to potentially going to be, because I do believe it's, oh no, I'm sorry. This series is actually over. They've just beat them 4-1. Yeah, that was the fourth game. So the Jazz actually won the series. So man, that's tough. That's really tough. So I'm hoping to get some feedback from both players, from both sides, and we got Coach
Hey,
Taylor
Recording in
Jenkins up.
progress.
Gotcha. We'll start first with Josh Robbins.
Taylor, I know this must be a disappointing ending. I'm curious, please, what was your message to your players just now?
How proud I am of them. This was an unbelievable season. Many people are going to say, what a good season. This was a great season for the Memphis Grizzlies. So much individual growth, so much team growth to get to this point. Every team in the NBA has gone through a unique season, unique challenges, but our team has stuck together and put ourselves in this great position to play meaningful basketball at the end of the season, push through and break through and make it in the playoffs, and go up against best team in the NBA and do some great things and do some things that are going to motivate us moving forward. So just so proud of them, the togetherness of this team, the fight and competitiveness of this team day in and day out. We've got a bright future ahead of us that I know if we continue to work on the things that we are capable of and we will work on, and the investment we put in, we're going to have just this bright future that I'm so excited about.
Drew Hill.
Taylor, you mentioned that bright future. How much of that, obviously a lot of it is tied to Ja. How do you sort of assess his overall year, and then also what you saw from him in this playoff series?
Yeah, obviously Ja is an unbelievably huge part of our future. So many guys on our roster are a big part of our future, which gives me, so much confidence in what we're going to be able to accomplish. But Ja has grown up so much this year. I know he's going to be highly motivated going into the offseason of taking the next level as a player and continuing to help this team take the next step. His words going to the locker room, we will be back. And that's a great mentality. That's motivating for his teammates, obviously for the entire staff to continue to know what we've laid as a foundation moving forward. And for him, his foundation as a player is only continuing to get started. He's only continuing to scratch the surface of what he can become as a player. His talent, his leadership, his IQ, his impact on winning. And then in the playoffs, you saw him rise to the occasion. He's built for these moments, and he's only going to learn and grow from these playoff series and playoff, environments over the last couple of weeks to fuel him for being even better in the regular season and then the playoffs beyond. So that's how he's motivated. That's how he's built. That's why it's a blessing to be able to work with someone like him. And, very impressed with his end and knowing he's got so much great basketball ahead of him.
Evan Barnes.
Taylor, you said this has been a great season overall. I know you've kind of resisted our attempts to kind of reflect on this, what's been good about the season. But just if you could now, like what will you take away from specifically from the growth of this year that showed how much this team improved from where they were at the beginning, being hurt, to now battling 5 games with the Jazz?
Well, I'd say, we'll have more reflection when we do our exit interviews, of course. But, in the moment right now, I would say just, our ability to, continue to work at a rate that prepares you to play winning basketball. Obviously, the games are a completely different experience. The growth start of the season, the end of the season, learning how to close out games and win close ball games and learning the importance of, every possession and the little things. Obviously, in the playoffs, it gets heightened more. We did a decent amount, but definitely not enough to beat, the best team in the NBA, Utah Jazz, who have gotten that experience and learn from that. And that's why I say we're going to be motivated to learn and understand the value of, the attention to detail and the value of every possession. And, when teams are taking away your strengths, how you got to be prepared to beat them in other ways, like we've done all season long. So I think just our team's ability to understand what it takes preparation wise, what it takes, wise from game to game. We had a brutal second half of the schedule to be in this position to know our guys were mentally fresh and physically fresh. Our guys will just continue to understand what it takes as an individual to be prepared to excel on the court, but then what they got to do as a team. And we played unbelievably great team basketball, unselfish offensively. To be a top 6 or 7 defense with this squad is unbelievable to watch. The commitment on that end just continues to lay the foundation of, as our guys continue to develop, their talents develop, and we have this system that everyone's continued to be a part of and owned. That's exciting. That's what that excitement is, and that's what that growth is. And hopefully come back after investing a lot in this offseason that's ahead of us and take another step next year.
Parker Fleming.
Hey, Coach. So for Dylan specifically, whether it's him taking on those tough defensive assignments all season long, or even this playoffs, and taking on a bigger offensive load while also increasing his efficiency, just talk about just the beginning of the year and end of the year growth for him, just in those aspects of his game, but also as a leader as well.
Oh, what I love about him, and very, very the same way for all of our guys, is his coachability. We always talk about his competitiveness, his spirit, his preparedness, physically, playing for oppositions, pretty much every single night. He's guarded the other team's primary, perimeter player, or even, their best player, guarding bigs at times. He loves that challenge. He's motivated by that. I think he took a huge step from last season, as you said, continuing to find ways to be prepared from a physical standpoint, to endure that. Obviously, we're going to continue to challenge him to continue to be more of a disciplined defender, on how important he is, and a versatile defender to be able to guard multiple positions. And offensively, as he continues to get different usage rates, over the course of the season, his role can potentially change over the course of a year. His efficiency, definitely something that we're going to continue to push him. When he has great making nights, it sets a tone for us offensively, and is a great showing for him. So, that's going to be stuff we'll talk about with him as we go into the off season. These are all conversations we've had over the season that's gotten into this point to excel at this stage, to be a guy that can be elite defensively, accept those matchups, and then offensively be a guy that can embrace a lot on the offensive end as well. So we're only going to make him continue to be a more disciplined, efficient, competitive player, because that's what we're trying to build on our entire roster.
That's all the time we have. Thank you, Coach.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
For the next round, I think is huge. And I think that was really our mindset. We just want to go out there and compete, and we want to take a 3-hour flight back, and although their crowd was dope, I got to give their shout out to their crowd, because the crowd and the DJ was on point. He knew what he was doing, but, definitely wanted to finish it out here in front of the home crowd.
Nio Campbell, UtahJazz.com.
Hey, Donovan. So when you guys clinched the #1 seed, I asked Jordan Clarkson what song describes his current mood right now. So now going into the second round playoffs, I want to know what describes your current mood right now.
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough question. I naturally go to like a Hove song. Probably like Threat by Hove. That's just been a song I play pretty much every day. By Jay-Z. I don't know if everybody knows who Hove is.
It's Jay-Z.
I don't know if everybody knows, but probably Threat. I think it's just symbolic, I guess, in a way. It's just we're going out there, continue to do what we do. So yeah, the kids don't listen to it.
We can find a way to bleep it out.
Exactly.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Donovan, you won your first ever playoff series, and then you 4 straight years. An appreciation for it now that they don't come easily.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I just said that right before I came out here, and people were like, "No way!" Like people don't really know that. Like you know what I mean? And then for me, this one was huge because like man, like I haven't done this since my rookie year. And I feel like for me personally, it's just something that I've wanted to accomplish. But it's not the end goal. But it's definitely something you appreciate along the way. And we did, like I said, we did what we were supposed to do. But at the end of the day, you got to appreciate where you're at too, because you can get lost in the shuffle of everything. So understanding, do it in front of the home crowd. It's big time, but the job's not done, and we got to continue to go out there and fight. But for me personally, I think it's a moment that I'll enjoy for the night, and then get ready to play whatever it is next round.
Nick Farrell, yes.
Donovan, to follow up on that and what you touched on at the beginning, do you feel like you guys exercised some demons tonight because of the way that series against Denver ended last season?
Yeah, I think, if you look at the way we competed, throughout every quarter, I'll go back to the Denver series. We did that for the first 2.5 quarters. Jokic came out on fire to start the game. We weathered that storm. We were doing our thing, went up 15. Jamal wasn't really scoring. And then we kind of let up, and we got to a point a little bit today where we kind of let up and then we locked back in. But, that was pretty much the mindset every quarter, taking it step by step and, understanding that even though it's a 30-point lead, we still have habits. We still have things we need to focus on and get better at, and understanding that, like I said, having that be so fresh in our brain, and having that hurt still there, I think definitely helped with tonight. But just shows the poise that we have as a team. We came out with the right mindset, and we got to continue to do that.
Christos Saltas, Sport DNA out of Greece.
Hello, Donovan. Congratulations on your advance to West Semis. What are the improvements that you made as a team from Game 2 to Game 4 to Game 5, and what are the takeaways from that series from your perspective?
I think we did, we made some good adjustments on Ja. At the end of the day, he's averaged like 26 this series, but like he's tough. Dylan Brooks is tough, and I think that making it tougher on them, being able to shift, staying locked in, and staying on the boards, getting rebounds, picking them apart on offense, I think was huge. Game 1, they kind of were out there just moving freely, kind of doing what they do, and I think we locked back in and understood there was going to be adjustments. Understand it's a 7-game series, and we got to go out there and play them again and again. And I think the adjustments that we made were important and impactful. And I think that's the biggest thing, is making it tougher on those guys to see the reads and to score.
Corey Harrison out of Bounds.
Hey, Donovan, how you doing, man?
How you doing?
Great. So such an interesting season for your team. What is the energy surrounding the going into the next round?
It's over. The series is over, and we didn't come this far to just win one series and kind of be like, oh, we didn't lose 3-1, like, we're 4-1 like we did last year. Like, at the end of the day, we come out here and it's just one series, and we got to go out there and do it again and again and again. So for us, it's understanding that, like I said, savor the moment, enjoy it, but also at the same time, how to do. So it's going out there, watching film, getting locked in, mentally and physically ready, and getting rested and getting ready to go.
All right, we have time for one more. We Sarah Todd Deseret News.
Donovan, hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Are you under the weather?
Yeah, I had these allergies are kicking my. Man, I was up every hour on the hour last night. Probably the worst sleep I've had in my life, but such is life. It happens. But I'll be fine.
All right. Thanks so much, Donovan. We'll see you later.
Recording stopped. This offseason is going to be a special offseason for every single one of, my teammates.
Drew Hill.
Dylan, you kind of already answered the question. Obviously, getting a taste of this makes you more hungry, I'm guessing. But what did you learn about playoff basketball? And having been a part of it now for 5 games, what did you learn about the playoffs versus the regular season?
Adjustments. You're going against the same team potentially 7 times, and it's adjustments. It's so much detail, especially with this team. You can't make mistakes. Somehow you got to play, a perfect game and do every single thing that you got to do in the scout, even on your own. Understanding the player you're playing. That's what I'm going to take, and I hope my teammates take the same approach with all this, because it's an amazing feeling to be in this position in the playoffs, because you're at the highest level, and we got to go against the best team in the NBA. So we just got to be hungry and just use this as motivation to work on your game. It's going to show you what work because you're playing, like I said, you're playing the same team. Potentially 7 times to get the home end. They get to find your weaknesses, see what you're made of, and guys, gotta rewatch this and know exactly what they need this season.
Evan Barnes.
Maybe outsiders didn't expect you guys to be in this position, but if you could, just what was it like to kind of go through the season with the tough second half, not having Jaren and Justice for a while, but just to be able to either overcome some of the expectations or just kind of, even just get to this point and have to fight to just get to the playoffs?
Yeah, that's what we're built. That's how we're built. We hit adversity and we hit it hard. And other guys had to step up, and that's growth in itself. And we fight it head on, and we find a way every single night to battle. I don't see a lot of teams, playing as hard as us, and that's contagious throughout our team. And we hold a standard to where if you come on the floor, you got to play just as hard. And we'll be back.
Sean Coleman.
Dylan, first off, congratulations to you and the team on a great season this year. And you had mentioned at the first of the year when you were asked, is the goal of this team to make the playoffs? Your exact words were, hell yeah. And y'all it obviously met that goal. But can you just talk about how playing with each other and, the enjoyment that y'all have of playing with each other allows for everybody on this team to, see what's expected of them and the team itself, how everybody has developed for a positive. And obviously, it's been such a special season, everyone involved.
Yeah, everybody got better throughout the year. Growth, and then honestly understanding, what you need to work on for next year. I feel like we got a lot of pros on our team who approach the game at a different level, and that's what the offseason is for. And we play an unselfish basketball where we get everyone involved, and that makes everyone want to play and want to play hard and play for each other. It's clear cut. We compete, we play together, and we love each other on that court, and we would do anything for each other on that court.
We have time for one more. Terry Davis.
Hey, what's up, DB?
Good.
Hey, man, you guys had a successful season, had some great building blocks. What can you take from this season to have an even more successful season for next year?
Our defense got tested. We got to keep guys in front. Our rotation's got to be better. And when the going gets tough, you got to find a way to, make shots. That's the main thing. We got to see how we match up against, the number 1 seed. And, we gave them, every single fight, that we could. our defense got tested. We could have played with the pass a little better during this series. And then, guys just got to watch the film, make their weaknesses their strengths. So when we come back, we're going to be that unstoppable team.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks.
Next up, we will have Jaren Jackson Jr.
All right, Avery.
I've
Hey,
got
what
you.
up?
Hi, Jaren. We'll start first with Drew Hill.
Jaren, from your perspective, what are the biggest reasons to be optimistic heading into the 2021-22 season?
I just want to say, I a bunch of guys that just they care so much about the game. It's so refreshing to be around. Like, they play so hard. I've seen them work so much behind the scenes. Like, I get to see what y'all don't get to see. So when we're out there and we're playing with all that passion, I'm telling you, it comes from a place of real joy, real effort, and it really translates through everybody. So I'm so blessed to be a part of this team. I'm telling you, like, they make it easy for me, especially like throughout the times I wasn't playing. It definitely wasn't easy, for me to just be there, like sitting there. So I definitely don't take for granted when I came back and got the opportunity to play with these guys, and it was great. Every day was an experience I'll never forget. We achieved a lot, and a lot to remember, a lot to improve on too. Like, you got to understand, like, the hunger is really there. I know we're like answering questions and all that stuff right now, but like, on my mind, the hunger is really there. We just want to go out there every single day and get better. Like, whether we're playing in a game, whether we're working out in our gym, on the road, somewhere, like, it don't matter. We've always had that hunger. So, it's a blessing.
Evan Barnes.
Jaren, two things from me. Speaking of blessing, one, how happy were you to just kind of finish the season out instead of watching the season end from the sidelines? And two, you mentioned just kind of the work that you guys want to put in. What kind of work do you want to put into this season after kind of learning from this postseason?
There's so many things I got to work on. There's so many things I want to work on, and I'm so excited to do that. Credit to my medical staff for getting me in the position so that I could finish the year like this and finish the year strong and play these last games and be able to play in the playoffs and get that experience, because that's something I won't forget, especially watching the bubble last year. Like, the end of that wasn't a good feeling, and even this isn't a good feeling. We literally lost, but when we're looking at the positives and taking away things we want to get better at, yeah, for sure, I'm thinking of things I got to do. I get a chance to be in the summer healthy and really work on my game and polish a bunch of things I want to polish and work like I did when I was working to go in the bubble before. And yeah, I'm excited to put it together, man. I really, really am excited to put it together, and I really think I will.
Terry Davis.
Hey, Jaren, hopping off that, what one or two things you want to work on to make you a better player for next year to help the team to get even better and a deeper run in the playoffs?
I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it. I mean, you're supposed to work on everything. You're supposed to key in on things for the team and for your game, and a lot of specifics. There's a lot of ways I can answer that. At the same time, I don't want to get anybody any hints on. I just want to show it with my game and express it when I get back out there. Everything. I love this game. It's a shame that we have to, stop playing, because it's really like a safe space for us. It's an exhale for us. It's a place we can just go be ourselves. And by the end of the day, if it's our addiction, so we're gonna find a gym. We're gonna find a way to get better. We're addicted to it. I'm telling you, that's really how I'm feeling. I know I'm not very good. I know I'm not very good with these questions right now, but I'm really just giving y'all how I'm feeling. Like, this is that as real as it gets for me, really.
Corey Harrison.
Hey, how you doing, Jaren?
man.
And congrats on the season, and and I can feel the passion, from your answers. But what did you learn from this team during the playoffs, and what are some areas of opportunity for the program, going into the off season?
Yeah, we got a lot of guys. We're young, so we got this experience of being in the playoffs. We got a little taste of it, so we can build on that. We got a taste of what it's like to lock in on a team multiple times and make adjustments and have to make adjustments quickly. Every possession matters, and a lot of the late games we were playing because we were fighting to get a good seed, and then we were fighting to stay in the playoffs. So those are the biggest things. That's what championship teams have. They have that mentality, that switch where it's like, okay, every possession matters. They're not coasting. They're not checked out. They're locked in every single time because they know that it matters. And for our rookies, that's huge. For me, that's huge. For everybody, that's huge. We're young. So at the end of the day, like, we can take this and take it going forward. We never want to use that youth as an excuse. It never is. Like, we don't care. We don't care who's out there. We just love competing. But at the end of the day, like, experience goes a long way.
Final question, Cassie Carlson.
Hey, Jaren, you talk about the youth, you talk about the passion of your teammates and how much you love playing with them. There's this sense of this is the start of something special. Josh said we will be back. What's it like being a part of that and thinking of what is to come for the Grizzlies?
It's huge. I want to thank the fans for everything they was doing throughout all this, because we ain't been to the playoffs in a while. And they were loud. They were cheering us on the whole year. Got rowdy when we came back. Supporting us online, all that goes a long way. And we'll be back for sure. There's no doubt about that. But this season's for us. The season's for the fans. It's for the city. We're gonna keep putting it together. We laid a great foundation. And you see the work. You see the work. So thank you to the fans, man. I wish I could hug y'all for real.
Thanks, Jaren.
No problem.
Recording in progress.
Hey, Mike, good to see you. Go ahead and get started. Good, all right. Andy Larson, so we'll start.
Hey, Mike, can you just kind of tell us what happened when you went off the floor? What happened after that back in the locker room?
Just end of the quarter, just first quarter felt a little tug or whatever in my hammy, and came to the bench and made the staff aware. Told them I'd try to just run on it and play through it to see how it feels, and just kept getting sore and sore as the more I was running on it. So they decided to pull me, and we just did treatment, in the back, different things to try to see if it loosen up or, have a little bit of discomfort kind of go away. But seeing how the game was going and knowing that, we might have a couple days now before our next series, just to pull the plug on tonight and, see about, how things will go tomorrow.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Mike, obviously, just kind of as a follow-up to that, has there been any kind of, prognosis made? I mean, the team's in out the status, sore right hamstring. Is there any sense at this moment, kind of what a timeline is, or is it really just kind of a wait-and-see thing in this moment?
Yeah, there's no definitive diagnosis right now. I think that we'll wait tomorrow and, reassess and see where we're at and go from there. Obviously, it's the playoffs, so my mindset is, I'm gonna be ready to play. So that's the kind of visual I've put in front of myself that I'm gonna be ready. So, but at the same time, we're gonna just see what happens in the next few days and be smart about how we approach it going into this next series.
Alex Behar, Salt Lake Tribune.
Mike, with the hamstring, obviously you've missed a couple stretches here in this season. Just how concerned are you about it right now?
Frustrated, frustrated for sure. It's something that I've worked tirelessly, I guess that's the word, kind of night and day on. And, put a lot of effort into it, showing up early, staying late, strengthening, running, conditioning, everything. And it's just one of those things you can't really, you don't know when it'll happen or why it happens. It just does. And for me, it's, it's never been a true hamstring pull where it just knocks you out. It's just like, a small tweak that's just enough to cause discomfort and, worry some folks. So that's the frustrating part.
Nick Friedel, ESPN.
Like a couple quick ones. First, just for clarification, are you going to get an MRI tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll get one in the morning.
And as far as getting past this series, being up 3-1, given the cloud that hung over you guys after that Denver series, you feel like it boosts the psyche of the group given the way you closed everything down tonight?
Well, yeah, I think, we obviously knew and felt, kind of like the underlying pressure of being up 3-1 again. And but at the same time, we also know that this team is different. This team has grown a lot since then. We learned a lot from that, and those growing pains are necessary to if you want to win a championship, you're gonna have to go through that kind of, those years where you have situations like that. And hopefully that was our lesson learned. And we came out tonight, really locked in. You could tell from the first, possession how we were going to come out and play. And it was beautiful to be a part of a win like that, especially given the circumstances.
All right, we have time for one more, and it will come from Ryan Miller, KSL.com.
Hey, Mike, could you just kind of compare this hamstring versus the other two times that kind of made you miss time?
It feels less than the last one, and that previous one felt less than the one before that. So, I feel like I'll be fine eventually, and hopefully that'll be game one of second round. But I can't say for sure right now. Obviously, we'll reassess tomorrow, but my mindset is set on playing and being ready to go. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to do that.
Okay, that's it for tonight. Thanks so much, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Recording stopped.
All right, everyone, we are done. Thanks so much. We will see you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to the live post-game edition of the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. If this is your first time listening to the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel where we're dropping NBA content, WNBA content. We're definitely putting in work. Also, if you haven't took the time out, go to manscaped.com. 20% off, free shipping using the promo code. Say it again. Just make sure that you put that promo code in to get that 20% off and plus that free shipping. With that being said, thank y'all for stopping by, listening to the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. We'll be back again with another one where we're dropping, all kinds of different content. WNBA, like I said, we got Laker content. We just wrapped up the Utah-Memphis series, which was very, very fun to cover the Memphis Grizzlies. I definitely excited about them coming back next year, and being even better. So want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.